Hello, and welcome to the Yardversity Blitz plant pressing video. As part of Yardversity Blitz, we'll be showing you how to press your own plants collected from your backyard. Let's get started. Start out by exploring your own backyard for cool plants you can press. My backyard has a variety of plants. I'm going to choose 3 that I think will be fun to press. I explored my yard and found 3 different species of plants that I will press for this video. I decided to press some maiden ferns, red petunias, and a marigold. There are 3 ways you can press your plants. One method is using heavy books, another is using an iron, and another method is using a microwave. First, let's go over how to plant press using a heavy book. So for this, you'll need some parchment paper, scissors, and a heavy book to press the plants into. You're going to want to cut your parchment paper up to the size of your plant. You don't want your parchment paper to be bigger than the book you'll be using. Gently press your plant onto the parchment paper and smooth out with your hands. From here, you will place your plant inside of the book and gently press down. You can place weights on your book to further press your plants. So you're going to want to allow the plant to dry inside of the book for a few days. So a fully dry plant specimen will take about 2 to 3 days inside of the book and it'll be very flat and dry to the touch. Next, let's go over how to plant press using an iron. So the maiden fern that we picked earlier is a little bit too big to fit inside of a book, so using an iron to press this will work perfectly. You want to start off by cutting parchment paper big enough to put the fern on. So place your fern on top of the parchment paper and carefully adjust the leaves on the plant. The way it is on the parchment paper is how it will be ironed out, so you want to make sure none of the leaves are twisted and everything is laying nice and flat. Once that is done, heat up your iron to the highest setting and put the other piece of parchment paper on top. Now you're going to want to carefully glide the iron over the plant. As you're doing this, you will see some moisture come off of the plant into your parchment paper. This is normal. It is the iron taking the moisture out of your plant. If you need to, you can switch out your parchment paper to new pieces if the paper gets a little bit too wet to handle. So here I'm using a new piece of parchment paper. You can use as many pieces as you'd like. You just need enough to get your plant nice and flat. You can repeat this step as many times as you need. The point here is to get the plant nice, flat, and dry. So once that is done, you can put your fern aside. So next we're going to go over how to plant press using a microwave. So first you want to adjust your plants onto your parchment paper and gently flatten them down with your hands. Put another piece of parchment paper over the top. You are now going to place your plants into the microwave. So gently place the plants into the microwave and put a heavy plate over the top. You're going to heat your plants up for 8 to 10 seconds at a time. So there you go, those are your dried out plants from using the microwave. It's a quick way to get rid of the moisture and to press your plants faster. So now I'm going to show you how to mount your plant. So materials you're going to need are a paintbrush, multi-purpose glue, water, watercolor or cardstock paper, scissors, and a jar to hold your water. So to glue down your plant onto your paper, you're going to first need to water down your glue. I just took a bit of Elmer's glue and added some water to it and mixed it using my paintbrush. Next, you're going to carefully apply the glue onto your plant using a paintbrush. This might be a little bit messy, but it's okay, it will eventually dry out. Just make sure you put enough adhesive onto your plant so it will adhere to your piece of paper. Once your plant is evenly coated, carefully transfer it over onto your piece of paper. Carefully smooth out your plant, making sure every leaf and petal is flatly placed on. Continue to smooth out your plant and add more glue if needed. Do not be afraid to add too much, it will all eventually dry. So for this leaf, since the end of it went off the paper, I decided to cut a little bit off. You can do this too with your plants. I also decided to glue down my petunia. I did this the same exact way as I glued down the maiden fern. Feel free to glue down as many plants as you'd like, just be sure to flatten them beforehand. After gluing them onto the paper, be sure to set them aside for a few days while they dry. And those are the 3 ways to press your plants. From here, you can put your plants in an empty picture frame to display them, laminate them into bookmarks, or even preserve them as your own herbarium piece from your backyard. Please share your pressed plants to the Yardversity Facebook page. We would love to see what you created. Happy pressing!